Not a good week. Actually, it's not been a good year for P. Diddy. His homes, multiple homes were raided, including the one, I believe Jason Goodman was a guest. I don't know.
In Miami on, what's it called, Star Island?
Yes.
That's the one.
I have been there, inside, outside, everything.
Yeah.
I sent the link yesterday and said, just think, you fell in the front path of this house on the steps or whatever, the pathway.
The little bridge. I'll never forget it. I'm walking out trying to be cool after I just had a talk with Carol to make sure she doesn't do anything to embarrass us when we go to PD's house because he invited us for the Super Bowl.
Right.
And then on my way out, I got my foot caught in his little bridge and fell and sprained my ankle. And all these other rappers were coming out right behind me, so I'm dragging myself down his driveway to go as our taxi's waiting there while everybody else has Bentleys.
Carol, don't embarrass us.
Yep.
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 That's exactly what happened.
And Carol scooped him up in her arms and carried him to the taxi.
She actually didn't do that. She actually laughed hysterically for a little while, and everybody did. And then Rocky, I was with at the time, also was picking me up.
That's how you got there.
No, well, yes, that actually at that particular time was right because it was a big promotion for P. Diddy's vodka Ciroc that was coming out. And he wanted to promote this for people that own a lot of nightclubs and stuff and put it in the clubs. That's exactly right.
Yes. This was, I think you missed this era. It was Jason's bedazzled jeans era.
Oh, it's great.
His Ed Hardy shirt era.
Yeah, steroids era.
Oh my gosh, the self-tanner with the sparkle era.
It was a great era.
I missed that era.
That was by mistake.
Yeah.
The sparkle.
I didn't know what shimmer meant.
One day I looked at him, I was like, are you a vampire from Twilight? You're awfully glittery right now.
No, it's like if old school Jason walked in, you'd be like, is that like your cousin or something? Like your steroided out,
it
your
was
roided
very
out cousin?
Jersey Shore.
Yes.
He walked in one time and we were like, what are you wearing? And you were like, I bought it in Miami. It's very cold. We never saw it again. Never saw it.
But it didn't stick out as much because so much of the stuff on TV and everybody was kind of wear that stuff. Now, oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you came in like 2 months looking
my
like
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I actually think I know what I want to be for Halloween.
Jason.
Y2K Jason.
Yeah, 2000.
It was definitely the guy from Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Ronnie, and even the other guy from Rhode Island. We all kind of did the same thing. I had the same gel, the spiker blue hair. I can't find it anymore. But anyways, it held the hair the best. All that stuff.
Cannot wait.
And at the time, we said Katie was the area's Snooki because they had the same hair at the time.
Biggest bump in her hair. I remember
Katie used
that.
to, It looked very similar to Snooki. We had it covered. And then...
And lost shoes. To get in her cab, she'd lose a shoe and find a cab. Yeah. Katie would come into work and with one shoe, and we're like, where's your other shoe? I left it in a cab and slept in my car last night.
I don't know how many times she came into work, like staying up all night. Now she goes to bed earlier than all of us.
Yep.
Seriously, if it was after 8, don't text her.
If we did a side-by-side of us 10, 15 years ago and
gosh.
now, like I think that you and I and
No.
you don't. Well, you
I
had
had a full head of hair.
Yeah, but
and,
that's But I'm not. But like
one point, I didn't have a beard.
Personality was Katie was like like a homeless Snooki, and now she's a golf course queen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's very different. Country club queen.
Yeah, life can change you quick. Well, money, I guess. I mean, just life. You just different seasons.
Maturity too.
But Jason, you could be a part of this investigation because they raided and took things from the home. So if you left anything there, you know, maybe so. But
that was years ago.
They're gonna find your DNA on like the blood stain on the front patio.
What happened? Why did P. Diddy's home all of his homes get raided?
So there are a lot of accusations. There's an ongoing investigation, and one of this came from a woman that came out recently that we've covered, Cassie, his former girlfriend, and he settled with her out of court. But he's been accused of things from sexual misconduct all the way to sex trafficking and sex with a minor. I mean, this is like R. Kelly type stuff.
And narcotics. Narcotics and firearms added to the list.
Yes.
Well, firearms.
Illegal firearms. Oh. Sorry, I should have added that part.
Yeah, so he has homes in L.A., New York, and Miami, and they were seized all at the same time yesterday. And even I think his 2 sons that were at one of the homes were in handcuffs, which they say is like protocol when they're raiding a house because they don't know what's going on. They don't know who's who. They're just like, all right, we're going to put you in handcuffs temporarily while we're taking things out of the house. And meanwhile, Diddy's in the Caribbean.
Well, he was seen pacing around the Miami airport.
Saw that.
His jet is in the Caribbean. Was he with the jet or did he stay back?
I saw I've seen all sorts of different photos, and I saw pictures of them in the. He was out of the country for a while. I don't know if he's back, but yeah, Homeland Security, big time raid of Diddy's homes.
They must have sufficient evidence, I'm assuming, or is this from an ex-girlfriend that's creating all this?
Well,
no, they've already settled.
They settled, but she's now speaking out, even though they settled.
But settled is just the civil aspect. There's still a criminal aspect.
Well, I'm sure it sparked something, but they don't just raid your home willy nilly under sex trafficking and illegal firearms accusations. They don't just go like, let's go check it out and just see.
Like a raid, especially. I
That's
mean,
a big deal.
You could be innocent. Your home could be raided and be innocent.
Yeah.
They have
Absolutely.
enough evidence to typically. I
And
mean,
what
there's-
happens if they don't have enough evidence and they just wanted to do it? Is there repercussions for that?
That's a
No.
good question. We can
Because if
ask.
there's no repercussions, then they might have done it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been cases of people being wrongfully raided and or
Oh, for sure.
politically motivated. People been raided before. You're like, and they come
Yes.
out later like, well,
There
we didn't
could
like
be
the
an
guy.
agenda or something.
I just think that this one is going to be so high profile that they were going to make sure
Yeah.
they had something
Agreed.
because they know there's going to be
You would think
a
so.
big media.
But look at what goes on in this country now. Like, it's we say that, but things happen like that all the time. That like the raids and this and that, where it's like, really, why would they do that? And it just gets swept under the rug.
Yeah, that does happen. I mean, there's definitely been people like there's a guy, and again, the details in Florida, where because of his politics, seriously, his home was raided at machine gun. I mean, machine guns in his face, like over a political contribution. It's not even like a felony, and then it's bankrupted him. Like it just ruined his life. And it's like, and the people that did it were on the other side. So it's like that does happen too. That's kind of scary.
I don't know what other side there would be in P. Diddy's thing.
No, yeah, the side of the law.
I think that because I don't know if it's true, but I think that we're seeing more and more high-powered people from the last 20 years who maybe did some things. Was it Russell Simmons recently was part of the sex trafficking allegations? There's
Wait,
been
Russell
several.
Simmons?
Was it Russell Simmons?
I
Who
don't
did
know.
Usher just go to the Caribbean with?
Because just for record here, Russell Simmons was there at the party.
Was he?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because he's a
I think that
big time record producer,
Yes,
right?
Where did
he
he
was there at the
go?
party. I remember walking right by him, and he was there. It was Russell Simmons, it was P. Diddy, and it was I think a couple people from the band Nas, and also some people from Run DMC.
It was Russell Simmons. So Usher just went on vacation with him and got a lot of kickback because Russell Simmons is accused of this whole sex trafficking. There's a lot. So I think you've got a
Wild,
lot
right?
of these high-powered moguls, whether they be in the music business or an Epstein type thing, and they got involved in this stuff, and it's now coming out because more and more you're hearing about it, and I don't remember ever hearing about this
No,
stuff.
I've never heard Diddy until recently, and then it's been like an avalanche.
But the sex trafficking thing is
Why would he possibly?
Insane.
I mean, he has so much money.
because
R. Kelly, why did he do all that weird
why did
stuff?
he
It's
pee on
like,
children like while he was trying to have sex with
Yeah.
them? Like who friggin' knows these brains?
yeah, it's like R. Kelly had all the money in the world and was like the R&B king for a while and
Yeah.
doing all this bizarre stuff. Yeah,
They're
he's
just
been in prison for what the next 20 years or
and
whatever.
the allegations that Cassie had were pretty awful. Like the things she accused him of before they settled were pretty awful, and they were in a relationship together.
Yeah, and then her rep said, or her attorney said, hopefully this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct. So they're pretty confident that
Wasn't it T.I.? T.I. also got
there's been
Him
a
and
lot
his
of
wife.
yeah.
T.I. and his wife Tiny. They got sex trafficking. I mean, I don't know.
And what is it? I mean, I don't. Sex trafficking is it? It doesn't. It can be minors, but it could also be
It's adults.
adults too.
We
like
saw somebody
like imprisoning
downtown
people. And
that
then-
was being. Yeah, it's basically being forced to prostitute against your will.
got you. Okay,
And sleep with people and maybe not receive anything in return. You're being forced to have
forced to do it.
sex without control of your body and saying no. Like you're being forced. A lot of
you
the
can't
times,
leave.
a lot of the times you're drugged or you're
Are
forced
you-
with money.
Does that also include influence? Meaning, if it's not forcible, but you are part of this organization that gets clients for you and this and that, is that still sex
I
trafficking?
guess.
Because that's borderline racketeering.
Yeah,
right?
that's yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that would be like a Lisa Lanier question.
Yeah,
or-
we need to
I
ask
don't know
her.
enough. I just know that a lot of the not so much celebrities, but the sex trafficking is they get hooked on drugs
Mm-hmm.
and they need it and they can't afford it. So that's how their pimp keeps them. Because going through withdrawal from opioids is, you want to die. So they will try. So
Yeah.
they can't afford to keep going, and so a pimp will get them high, and then put
Yeah.
Well, now you got to
Well,
work
Sound
for
of
me.
Freedom, and it was mostly about underage sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is like deep stuff, but they had the stats. I got to find them at the end of the movie. It like makes you want to throw up about how much sex trafficking there is for adults
Oh yeah,
and children in every corner of the world,
absolutely.
every state in the country, in our country, every place in the globe it's happening, and it's outrageous amount of people that are doing it.
If you don't know the universal symbol for, it's kind of like the universal symbol for help for somebody who is being held against their will, being sex trafficked, being kidnapped. and I don't want to get it wrong, so I need to Google it, but I think it's like a sign language, like a D type thing. It's you hold your hands a certain way, and when you see that person is trying to silently tell you help, call 911. Unfortunately, a lot of them are groomed to not ask for help.
Yeah, they're
because
scared, terrified, they get killed, or
they've been groomed. But I would encourage everybody to take 30 seconds, 15 seconds, Google that hand signal, and keep an eye out for it. It's like something with your fingers and your hand like that. But
it says, holding your hand up with your thumb tucked into your palms and folding your forefingers down, symbolically trapping your thumb in your fingers.
So that means it's like a sign language A, kind of like, but you're holding it in there. So that is the universal sign for help. And there have been people who are driving by a car and the girl does that outside the window, or a girl's walking down the street and does that, and somebody sees and they call the police, and this person was kidnapped or being sex trafficked. So I would encourage you to look that up.
Now the new headline is Prince Harry is dragged into this $30 million lawsuit against Puff Daddy or P. Diddy or Sean Diddy Combs, whatever. The producer suing rapper over sex trafficking parties says Star's access to the Duke of Sussex and other celebrities boosted his legitimacy as his mansions are raided. So now he's in a part of the lawsuit.
Jason's getting called. Jason's totally getting called. They're finding his DNA.
If you have any pictures with him, I would delete them.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's like, is he going to be and this is a jump, but could he be like the next Epstein type?
Well, and that's what I think a lot of these people, men and women who had this power, thought they were untouchable, and they did things, and they just continue to do these things. And it's not, you're like, Pete Diddy, he created Danity Kane. Like, how could he be capable of that? But more and more is coming out. We're seeing those Nickelodeon documentaries coming out where these kids were groomed, and like people in power over others, they thought they got too big for their britches, and they started these things.
And they're depraved. I mean, I don't know how it gets to that point, but yeah, watch Sound of Freedom if you want. I mean, and then a quick thing I just Googled, estimated 27.6 million victims worldwide at any given time of human trafficking of one way or another. They say it's the modern day slavery.
Gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know P. Diddy was a billionaire either.
Oh, yeah.
He's a billionaire. And I remember being at the party.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I'm so unaware of
You really are unaware of your surroundings sometimes with that.
I was at that particular case because I'm just worried about not making a fool, which I did of myself. And, I'm saying, and focusing on everything. The last thing I'm thinking of is paying attention for sex trafficking.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but that's because you have a normal brain. Like
Jason does not have a normal brain.
Well, you do. I mean, I don't ever
Does anyone agree that Jason has a normal brain?
It's not normal.
No.
Yeah, but I mean
Not
the
bad,
sense of
it's
like
not
that.
normal.
I don't ever.
He normally notices every little thing, but
No,
I guess
I
in that
don't-
situation you
But
didn't.
you
I
wouldn't
don't
look for
notice
that.
the obvious. Sometimes I don't notice. It's the weirdness that I notice. The things that's not obvious. That's the problem I have.
I had to
Jason
tell.
would see like the book of sex trafficking names and go, "It's pretty dusty."
You were right.
Like that's what he would
yes,
notice. He
that's
wouldn't
what it
realize
is.
what's
Yeah.
in the
Crooked
book.
on the bookcase.
He'd be like,
Yeah.
That was bound weird.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
That's what he would know.
Probably.
And
Yeah.
missed the
No,
big part of it.
I would not know either. I mean, I would be so blind
No,
to that.
I'm not
That's
talking about that. Yeah.
It's not something I would ever even pick
I
up
don't even
on.
assume that. Right. Well, we'll keep updated on the Rebel Wilson thing with Sacha Baron Cohen, but obviously a bigger story, the P. Diddy thing is insane. And,
And
he's
if he-
innocent until proven guilty. Well, we don't know.
That
But
is
it does
true.
not look good.
Right.
If he went to Antigua, I don't know the laws there, but is that like a way where he can just like stay there and not face the?
I have a feeling that's why he went was the extradition laws.
Yeah, I
extraditing.
think there's
Probably.
very few countries now that there are no extradition, but could be. I mean, I guess we Google it real quick, but there. I know there's it was France one, or there used to be one, but I think it's all some of them have changed.
Yeah.
And depending on the thing, they're like, yeah, we don't extradite, but then they do in certain situations.
It just looks. It's also a bad look when your house is about to be raided. You leave your kids behind and you jump on a private jet to take you somewhere that you can't be extradited. I'm just gonna say that you're maybe not guilty, but that looks awfully bad.
I think the casual observer does, but then he wouldn't know it's being raided. They don't tell you. They don't tell you when you're going to be raided. They
No,
just
no,
do
no.
it.
But his
Yeah.
neighbors could call and be like, "Hey, you've got
He's like,
a
all right, I'm
SWAT
good.
team outside your house and your kids are in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Don't come home."
Yeah. Squid, you got anything real quick?
Coming to Antigua, the U.S. can extradite from the Caribbean country.
Okay.